Hey, what's up, guys? Marty here, and I'm pumped up for the behind the scenes today. Don't want to give too much away, but I do want to talk a little bit about what I'm going for here. The type of person I'm trying to connect with, and the place that it's coming from. So let me share something with you guys right quick. Oops, every time. All right. Share computer sound. All right. So, um, today is all about mute, and this guy is the youngest on Team Rainbow still, I believe. Used to be in, yep, used to be the youngest and smartest one in the room. Highly intelligent and analytical. Prefers brevity in it, being short and clear to extemporizing, which this is true of me when I'm on defense too. I'll go ahead and admit it. It resonates with me. Curt nature is easily misconstrued as rudeness. I've been there before, unintentionally. Portions of file redacted, so that's stuff. But anyway, here's the operator video. Just going to hit a few points and get in the mindset of being that person. They got it, wrong one. Here we go.
What the hell are they doing in a position? I don't think anyone deserves to go out there.
There's gotta be anyone comes through that door. Go, get out of there. Big old crap.
Son of a bitch, we don't take the
Well,
risk.
get down there. Hey, I know you.
Wait,
What do you mean everything's at the old guy's?
fuck!
Wait, you see that? Get ready.
The current feed went down. Somebody's on the position.
All right. So I personally find a lot to that in that particular instance. So what I'm trying to do here is relay that you have to block things out, you have to jam certain things out, and you can't close off completely either, or rely too much on the tactics being used to hold the right walls at bay, because conflict, there's an action phase. And it's important that you're not just caught up in the everyday, this is how it is every day, and you're just fundamental all day long. Because I've been there before too. I've been so afraid of failing before, and so afraid of succeeding before. It's been ridiculous. Whenever it's held me back like it has, and it all comes from that place of like staying too protected and too closed off. But no more, man. Like, that's what this podcast is about. So I'm just going to tell you how I did it in an empowering way to give myself more certainty, with my life's mission and where I was going and who I was serving. And that involved eliminating a lot of noise, a lot of noise. So that's what today is about. Let me check and see if anyone's live. If anyone is live, say hey, hey. All right. Okay. There we go. In 3, 2, 1. What's up, guys? Marty here. And today I wanted to talk about something that I'm on a constant mission for. And sometimes I do it to myself, and other times I let it happen to me. And it's something that I feel like needs to be talked about. And this is the entire reason that I, uh, you know, didn't really get along with social media that well as far as getting my message out there. So I needed like another way of at least thinking about it, even though I realized that you may even be listening to me on YouTube, which is social media, believe it or not. It was, I forgot who said that, who gave me that epiphany, but I remember somebody gave me that epiphany. And it was like, just looking at it from this angle of so much noise, like there's so much noise and distraction out there on social media. And honestly, like, my attention, or my ability to like zoom in on small moving parts, and like if I start looking at the bad, man, it gets bad. If I'm looking at the good, it looks good. And I've learned the hard way, that if I don't eliminate those bits of social media, somebody talking about, like just the most ridiculous things. I'm not going to go into detail on what exactly it is, but I mean, I'm sure you know what I'm saying. Like there's just way too much, way too upsetting, way too many people complaining about how their life sucks, and they're not doing anything about it. They're just complaining. And I've been that person too, and taken part in that. And I had to cut that out. That's complete noise, complete garbage, and it has nothing to do with you know I don't know what the right word for it is. I mean, it's like I've been caught up in the whole likes and status thing, like caught up in playing that game, because it's like like taking video games again into consideration here. It's like you're getting rewarded XP, and like you got that hit of, oh, somebody liked my thing. It's like too low a level of the game, man. But not only that, just the you see how easily I run off on tangents here. And I needed the freedom to be behind the scenes too, because honestly, it's like I'm super introverted, and I do have this part of me that comes out and does this thing, and then I need a serious recharge time. I need to be able to recharge mostly, and put the important walls up without really closing myself off from the world and sacrificing my own freedom, because I've talked about that at length before. But whenever I was young in this online marketing game, and I still feel like I'm, just drawing a jujitsu comparison here, white belt level, or at least a white belt mindset towards this online marketing game, because stuff changes every day, but a lot of things remain the same. And that focus on that evergreen strategy are where I'm best suited for. And young me in the game, Stephen Larson, has a quote that says, if you're broke, you're either new or not a marketer. And I was like, okay, I am new. That was like one of my acceptance points, in this process, was like, you know what? I am new. And then things changed for me. But I put the walls up, and the first thing I did instead was I filled it with more noise. I geeked out on learning and understanding the entire online marketing game, and just seeing where it is, like not from a high strategy level, from the small moving parts kind of level. And it came, certain things I wanted to do, certain things I felt like I had to do, which is always a bad state of mind. And I was just flat out interested in some stuff because I didn't know what I didn't know, and I wanted to be good at something. And while I was in this figuring it out process, which was not good to begin with, because as Russell Brunson talks about a lot, it's about finding the who, not the how. You start learning the how-tos, and you get stuck in procrastination, and nothing ever gets done. And I ran up against this wall that if I was going to keep filling it with noise, on my own accord, I was self-inflicting it. I was doing it to myself. So I really had to put up some barriers and figure out what exactly it is. Not what I was necessarily good at. What did I want to do, and who should I be selling at to, or who should I be talking to figure out what I want to do to serve them at the highest level. That was a I got caught up in mechanics again. So sometimes you have to put walls up. You can't break. I know yesterday's episode was about breaking down all the walls, but we got to talk about the important ones today. I mean, this is a siege after all. I mean, there's strategy and tactics to this. So to me, I think about mute in Rainbow Six. And if you don't play Rainbow Six and you are still listening to me right here, we should play Rainbow Six and talk about this more. But I think about mute and putting up jammers and actually playing the game. It was like, just throw up those gates and start playing the game. Stop getting stuck in fundamentals. So I put my jammers out, and thinking about how mute plays is like he finds the choke points fast and he puts his jammers down as fast as he can to keep the drones from coming in. That is intelligence denial, and it's not something that a good mute player is going to just wait around and look at and analyze for a second. He knows right where it is every time, goes because the maps don't change, and you put the jammer down, and that's going to keep the drones from coming in. Now it's another conversation about drone work, which is the equivalent to market research in my mind. And thinking about it like a game is always like something that gets me really juiced up and makes it larger than life and fun. And, these choke points in the funnel game to me are like the opt-ins, the tripwires, the people actually going through these certain phases of your funnel that starts on social media, but there's got to be a business on the back end. And if there's too much noise and you're the only one running a business, there is no business running. That was like, something it never occurred to me until I did put up the important walls and then refortify. After that prep phase is over and you eliminate as many drones as you can, the next step in the plan was like to refortify the important walls. Once I was talking to the right person, it was important to, keep the walls up that keep the noise out and really try to defend those. But, there are operators that counter you. It's like in that action phase, in the actual playing of the game, those jammers go away pretty easily. Usually I talked about old Granddaddy Thatcher the past, couple of episodes ago, but he comes in with the EMP and then there you go. And if you're not careful, if you're caught up in that same old routine of just focusing on the fundamentals and not actually playing the game, it's like, but whenever those jammers go away and that crutch gets kicked out from under you, all of a sudden you realize it's like, oh, I'm in a fight. So you have to keep your mind right and you have to stay out of reaction on purpose. And the only way I've been able to do that and stay out of reaction was by not only prepping properly, but playing the game through all the way. And the best part about that is the noise is always going to be there. You do have to cut noise out, but noise always creeps in. Sometimes you do it to yourself even. But what I've learned, and this was, this might come from my time as a band director and giving myself payback for how I was whenever I was younger in the band. It was one of those things where you just kind of learn how to make music out of noise. And, you have to watch those walls because you are valuable and you can help when you are talking to the person you should be talking to. So remember, guys, you're one upgrade away. What do you guys think? Did it make the point? Did I ramble? It felt okay. Felt like I got it. Felt like, don't be paralyzed by analyzing the situation. Something I definitely struggle with one last little check here. Okay. I think that's pretty good. I'm signing off. Almost. All right. Be sure you like and subscribe, guys, so you can keep up with me on these behind the scenes